Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Don't you see? I'm just crazy about this store.
This is episode 285, recorded May 14th, 2025. And let me tell you, boy, is he crazy.
Gruesome Magazine.
My name is Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. Joining me tonight is Crystal Cleveland, actress and YouTuber. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm great. I thought I'd seen this film, but I have not. So this was the first time for me, and I'm really interested to talk about this weird one.
So good. Yeah. Also joining us is Chad Hunt, comic book artist and co-host of Decades of Horror, the all of them. Mr. Chad, how be you?
I'm fine. I'm just no longer an Olive fan.
No longer a what fan?
An olive fan.
Oh.
I don't like the olives anymore. I'm off the olives, Jeff.
I like olives. Well, except I do give them a little tighter inspection than I used to. All right. Last but not least is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, and co-host of Decades of Horror, the 1970s. How you doing, Chad? And he's been guesting on
I already told you how I'm doing.
Yeah.
And a published author.
Yes.
And an all-around nice guy.
All around nice guy.
And let's see, Chad and Bill, what are the dates for Con Carolinas?
Oh, it's coming up here like May 29th, I think.
Oh wow, that's close.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the end of May? Okay.
Pretty close. And I see two panels that you're on, Chad. I just did a quick
Did
look.
you? Okay.
So I know more about what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing cryptids and following your passion. That's another panel.
So there you go, folks. If you want to go to Con Carolinas, and that is in Charlotte.
It's a great time, good convention. It's kind of like my home con. It's the one that really kind of got me into things. It's where I first met Crystal Cleveland on a panel.
What?
Yeah.
And Christopher G. Moore too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I forget what the panel was, but we had a great time. It was like,
me too.
I think it was
Directors. Maybe it was directors.
I don't know.
Remember.
Christopher and I were just elbowing ourselves because it was you and another gorgeous woman. I can't remember.
Oh, it was Whitney.
Oh, so Christopher and I were in hog heaven. It was like,
Yeah, quite the good thing.
We don't get to hang out with quality people like that.
I know. Y'all feel so far away now. Sad, actually.
All right.
Decades
Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. Decades of Horror, the 1980s is on Wicked Horror TV. And we have a promo code for that if you want to. You can just go to the channel and watch it for free. And you'll get ads and won't get some of the premium content. You can subscribe by giving a register. I don't know the proper term for it, but giving them your email address and creating a password. That way you can save a favorites list and it will remember you when you come back and are using different devices.
And isn't it good to be remembered?
It is. It is. It drives me nuts when they don't remember me. I back out and I come back and I go, wait a minute, you're starting this all over. And then you can subscribe for a fee, and it's $6.99 a month or $49.99 for an annual subscription. With the promo code, which is DOH80, DOH all caps 80, you will get 20% off your first payment. So if you subscribe for the monthly plan, you'll get $1.40 off the first month. But if you subscribe for the annual plan, you'll get $10 off your first payment. And there are a couple of hurdles you got to jump through. You have to be a first-time subscriber, and you have to subscribe through their website. So just go on the internet, search Play Now Media, scroll through all their options, and find Wicked Horror TV. We're also on Classic Horror Movie Channel and the Classic Sci-Fi Movie Channel, among others. So do that. They got a lot of good stuff. I was perusing it for my next pick, and I actually picked something that was on there.
Yay.
You can clear down. If you go clear down to the bottom of the page, they have stuff by the decades. So you could pick,
really?
You could pick like 80s and scroll
That's
through
cool,
it.
actually.
That's very good.
All right. So do that. On this podcast, we give some basic details of the film we're covering, followed by each of our first impressions, some taglines, and then we get into posters and the cast and crew, etc. Hopefully, we talk about things that are relating to the film. Sometimes more degrees of connection than others. Also, this is a spoiler podcast. So if you haven't listened to us before, we need to point out that these shows are kind of best appreciated after watching the movie. We kind of take a deep dive and something along the lines of almost like a video commentary track. And once we start talking movies, we don't know when to shut up. So there will be spoilers. All right. Our topic this episode is Intruder from 1989. I love that. They got a nice glint on that knife.
Yep.
The director is Scott Spiegel, who also wrote the screenplay from a story by Scott Spiegel and Lawrence Bender, one of the producers. The cast includes Liz Kern, Renee Estevez, Dan Hicks, Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, David Burns, Eugene Robert Glazer, Billy Marty, Burr Steers, Craig Stark, Alvy Moore, Tom Lester, Emil Sitka, and Bruce Campbell. And the special makeup effects were by Robert Kurtzman, Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, who's the first initial of their last name are what? KNB. They went on to form KNB Effects. The production companies are listed as Beyond Infinity and Phantom Productions. Now, if you watch it now, it shows Full Moon. I think must have purchased it. At the time of its release, it was supposed to be distributed by Empire. And right when it was ready to be released, Empire folded. And then it was purchased by Paramount Video. And it didn't get a really big video marketing campaign, so it didn't get as big of a release as one might think that this movie deserved. Okay, and this, I don't understand this stuff. It was filmed in Bell, California. They found a grocery store in Bell, California, and
boy, did they!
That's where they filmed it. The filming dates said March to July 1988, but another place said they filmed it in 2 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe March to
1
July
week in March and 1 week in July.
Production dates, I don't know. It was released January 19th, 1989 for limited theatrical release. The budget was $130,000, also known as Night Crew. Night Crew, the final checkout.
Great title.
Nerve endings. And in Mexico, it was Venganza Sangrienta, bloody revenge or bloody vengeance, maybe. And in Italy, Terrore senza volto, faceless terror. And the synopsis.
I like Night Crew, the final checkout, the best.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what the production company first put it out as Night Crew, and the producers didn't like that. So
someone's got bad taste.
It became Intruder. The synopsis: the overnight stock crew of a local supermarket find themselves being stalked and slashed by a mysterious maniac. And I would add, just when you thought it was safe to go to the grocery store again.
Yep.
All righty. Well, this one is Chad's pick. So moving quickly to first impressions, Chad, had you seen this before?
I had not seen it. but I knew about it, and I knew that Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi and all those Evil Dead guys were in on this, and K&B Effects even. But I never, for some reason, I never picked up on it and watched it. But so this is the first time, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was really thinking this is going to be a crappy slasher film. You know how I feel about slasher films. I find them boring, but this one is a slasher film, but it's done in an interesting way. I mean, I don't know how much of an effect Raimi had on Scott Spiegel as far as directing goes, but there's a lot of Sam Raimi shots in there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And and just some way cool camera work, and the gore is pretty damn good. I mean, it's a pretty gory movie for a little film like this, and so I enjoyed it. Of course, there's no story, but at all. And this thing was filmed in what looks like the dirtiest grocery store in town. I mean, it looked filthy.
I think it had been closed.
Maybe
probably by the health inspector.
Yeah, because there's still trash up on top of the aisle separators and everything. But I found myself enjoying this. I really did. With no expectations of liking it. I really thought this was going to be pretty bad, but I found myself digging the gore and Bruce Campbell. So I like it. I liked it.
Excellent. And by the way, I had the names backwards. The actual the crew liked Night Crew. The distributors are the ones that wanted something more generic slasher movie title.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oakley dokley.
That would have been a good one.
Hey.
Had you
Okay,
seen it
so
before?
no, I'd never seen it, and this is my first time. And this movie is absolute garbage, so of course I liked it. I mean, like, it's so funny and it's bad funny. It's like, it's so good. It's so bad it's good. But they were trying to do that. They were actually going for so bad it's good. Because it's obvious, because some dude talks about like someone getting, stopped from hurting him with a blender. And he's like, yeah, a Hamilton's.
Yeah, Hamilton 3000.
So they did it. They intentionally went campy. So this is an interesting one, because generally with the 80s films, they're actually trying to be serious and it comes out funny because it's, not great. But this, I feel truly that this was intentionally campy and meant to be writing that line. And it perfectly does, because man, it's confusing. I actually rewound it a couple times because I was confused as to what was happening. The poster that I saw for the film actually ruins the whole movie because you know exactly. And I was like, oh my God, they've ruined the whole movie. The acting is phenomenal and bad, but mainly phenomenal because I think it's intentionally bad. But Chad isn't wrong. Like, there is a kinetic shot that obviously feels very Sam Raimi, where the door knob is turning and they start turning the camera. Now it's not typical Sam Raimi quality, but you can see where the beginnings are and how he started, going down his cinematography directing style. I actually really enjoyed this film more than I should. It did feel a little long at like toward the end. Like the end just took way too long. I was like, Jesus, can we wrap this up already? Because it just kind of seemed like it kept rehashing the same thing with the killer and stuff. And I was it did kind of lose me there. But I mean, whatever. That's not that big of a deal. I loved the grocery store because we saw monster cereals. There was like Fruity Brew. It's very interesting because generally you cover all of the brands because you can get sued. But apparently they didn't care in this film, and they just had them, right there front and center, which fine by me. It kind of was nostalgic because I saw the popcorn that you pop on the stove.
Jiffy Pop.
Jiffy Pop.
The Jiffy Pop. Yeah. And so that was kind of neat. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I'm surprised that I'd never seen it or really even heard of it. I thought that it was something else, I think, based on the name, but I did not know this film at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
All righty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bill Mulligan, had you seen this before?
I had not, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I've always said slashers are not my favorite. I remember hearing about this when it came out, and the impression I got, and I don't know why, but the impression I got from Fangoria and everything is that this was kind of a dark, grim kind of thing, and it's actually pretty funny. It's lighthearted. It reminded me of the people I hung out with back in the day. This is they had that, they actually had some personalities. A lot of things I don't like about slashers, this thing managed to avoid. The characters were likable. They had a good red herring. I mean, they, obviously at this point, it's not the person who it obviously is supposed to be. It's just how, where they go. So, the twist was pretty good. But I really do love what Crystal pointed out, the little bits and pieces. I mean, she answers the phone, and for absolutely no reason, we get the phone vision. Like if there were a camera inside, the CIA was filming her from below. And that reminded me more of like Creep Show than anything else. It was so over the top. But I like that. To me, it's just the little things that make life better in these movies. Slasher films don't have a lot to offer. So put the camera inside the the cart and let's see cart vision and just a little bit of kinetic energy going on here. It was enjoyable. I would say this is one of my favorite slashers now. Now that's faint praise because I'm not a big slasher fan, other than obviously Halloween. You get a few classics here and there, but for pretty much a generic 80s, and this is late 80s when things were starting to get a little stale, I thought this was really enjoyable, and I'm glad you picked it. I wasn't really going into it with the highest expectations, but I had a good time watching it.
Cool.
Excellent. Basically, this is the first time I watched it, but it is available as a standalone on streaming on Shudder, and also as an episode of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy the Mail Girl. And they have plenty to say about this, and they get into like the 21 things a slasher movie has to have and tick them off as they go. But anyway, I like this a lot too. That the effects, one of the effects is incredible, absolutely incredible. There's other ones that are pretty good, but there's one that's just blows, I think, all the rest of them away, unless I'm missing something. But also on the cinematography on those camera shots, Bill, I guess that was something Spiegel liked to do. Was we open it with a camera inside a grocery cart going down the aisle. So apparently that was a thing he enjoyed. And there's a lot of weird shots of them looking through weird little cracks between fixtures in the grocery store and stuff. I enjoyed the heck out of this, and it was a lot of fun seeing Sam and Ted Raimi, and there was a lot of other sort of cameos that we'll talk about later that was a lot of fun for me. And they went for some of the things they went for were obvious callbacks to things from the past. And I didn't realize Charles Band is listed as the executive producer, but Lawrence Bender was the on-site producer, I guess, and participated in a lot of what was going on. Apparently these guys, Scott Spiegel and the Raimi grew up together. And Bruce Campbell got together with him at some point, with Evil Dead. So I don't know if he was from the same town or not. All righty. Well, it must be time for.
Uh-oh.
A ruh-roh.
It's a little thing we do called
tradition.
Taglines with Chad. Crystal's faster than I am getting to my butt.
Sorry.
Taglines for Intruder are, I almost said Invader. He's just crazy about this store.
Yeah, I mean, that's appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Unnerving, unrelenting, diabolical.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
From the creators of Pulp Fiction and Evil Dead 2 comes...
Okay.
Man.
Intruder.
If you ever read it like that again, I dare you, Chad. I dare not.
Uh-oh.
Sweet Chad. Oh.
I think we've touched on some hidden part of Crystal's
You reminded
brain.
her of a camp counselor or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, you're too good for that, Chad.
A new dimension in terror.
If that's not a 3D movie, that's not a good one.
There must be like 1,000 dimensions in terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh God. It's so...
But wait, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Or better.
If this one does not scare you, you're already dead.
Okay.
And congratulations, you are the 12,000th movie to use that as a tagline.
Yeah.
So
It's closing time.
okay. That one I don't hate. Okay. I'm just saying because it makes sense. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate the singing too.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah.
All right. He's slashing more than just prices.
And
Okay,
that's my favorite. That's my
good.
favorite.
That is good.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, come on. I mean, it's appropriate. It makes sense. That makes sense.
And that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
All those beginning ones, though, no.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Well, there's a lot of, there's just too many people. How could somebody, well, never mind. I know. But how could they put a new dimension in terror and think they actually created something?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that only really works with like Twilight Zone type things.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Or 3D
it's like,
movies, yeah.
Maybe they sometimes I think they
yeah,
just look at the poster and it's like this poster looks kind of 3D, so new dimension in terror.
I think it's a ripoff of one of the Friday the 13th posters with the knife coming in.
Yeah, because it was in 3D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does actually.
All righty. Well, let's take a look at some posters. And this, I like this one, and I haven't seen this anywhere.
It's like a coupon.
This one does not give.
Doesn't give it away.
Doesn't give it away.
No, that's
crazy.
Fine.
It's red. It's got kind of like how is it that I don't know if they still do that, but the way comic books used to do color with the dots,
dot matrix.
It looks like a kind of like a newsprint kind of thing. Yeah.
What did they call that, Chad? What was the
Zipatone?
Thank you, Zipatone.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
Zipatone, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. It was a film you could cut to whatever shape you wanted it to be, and placed on. We used it in comic art to show shading.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Oh, you actually okay?
Yeah.
And you just paste it whatever you needed it shaped in. You take an X-Acto knife, cut it out, and stick it on there.
It was a great look. I think like Cerebus and stuff used it a lot.
It
worked best with good printing, which of course comics in the 80s did not have.
Yeah.
I had to look it up. I see. Oh, and there's all different densities of them. Cool. Probably different colors too.
I didn't even know they still made it. They can do all that with so much faster with a computer now.
Right. Probably a lost art.
Anyway,
I love Dan Hicks. Is that his name? Dan Hicks?
Yeah.
But
Not he of the Hot Licks, but just
yeah.
Dan Hicks.
He was the Bobby Joe's boyfriend in Evil Dead.
That's right.
2.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe. But he had a little bit more meat to chew on this bone. And I kind of liked him in this.
All right, then we have this is the one we've been talking about. And
it's cool, but a problem.
You're giving everything away, but
yeah, why? I don't understand. They should have just made him a shadow figure. It's
Now I like here on the poster they just have generic beer, but in the movie, yeah, Crystal's right. They have like Captain Crunch and stuff. It's like the most obvious product placement ever, except that I'm pretty sure the makers of Captain Crunch did not want their cereal in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
They were just too cheap to be, making mock-ups or anything. So
another thing, there's another version of this poster that's got some names on it, but the only names on it are Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, if I remember right.
Sure.
Across the top.
For a grand total of 12 seconds of screen time.
So yeah, very colorful. Nice art. I mean, I like the look of it, but it's
me too. Yeah. I love it, but I saw the poster, and then I was like, "Well, that's not who's on the poster."
Oh, and there's some Wonder Bread too there.
Yeah, it's got the polka dots.
Wonder did.
Well, and the bread man does.
That would actually be awesome. Mm-hmm.
The bread man was played by Scott Spiegel, by the way, that gets killed right at the end.
Yeah.
It comes up to the door. All right. And that one's kind of cool, but here's where we have Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi at the top. Then we have Lawrence Bender, unrated director's cut. That's a DVD cover, eh?
I've never seen that. And I'm pretty sure that's Ash Williams in the end, or the letter I there.
Could be.
I
mean,
what
the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, that's horrible. What the?
Well, you got a zombie on the left side, and then you've got that image from the movie of the.
Well, that's the only one that actually looks like it might have been a theatrical poster. It's got Empire on it. It's got all the
nobody under 17. So yeah, I guess that's. I think this is where I got the impression that this was a much darker movie. That there was a controversy about it getting rated. It couldn't get an R rating, and we know what scene it was that was costing him that rating. So I just had the impression it was a gore fest, and not at all what it ended up being.
Yeah.
That was a big deal back in the day when when they did the Dawn of the Dead route. Nobody under 17 admitted. Essentially, it's an X rating without actually having the X.
Well, did they not submit it for rating? Is that the deal?
I think they submitted it and they kept getting, we're not going to give it an R unless you cut more and more out. And at some point you just say, you either just end up like Friday the 13th part 2 where you got nothing left, or you just say, screw it. But a lot of theaters would not show unrated movies because they had a no X-rated movie policy, and essentially an unrated movie is an X-rated movie. That's why they came out with NC-17. So here's a rating that means you can't have kids, but it's not porn.
Yeah, that's.
And it was late 80s. I mean, the MPAA was really, around this time, they were really battering horror movies big time for bloody content. And
yeah, they would go in fits and starts. Like Friday the 13th, they passed, and then it was a big hit, and people were appalled. So then Friday the 13th Part 2 came out, and they said, "No, we're not going to let you show a damn paper cut." And then they would relax a bit, and then Steven Spielberg had people ripping hearts out, but they just gave him okay, we'll call it PG-13. We'll invent something new for you, Steven Spielberg.
Well, there's no nudity in this one.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
They don't care about the nudity, though. There's PG, full nude, and for a long time.
Yeah. Not in '89, I think.
But I like the fact that they didn't feel obligated to stick a gratuitous nude shot. I mean, there were some lovely young ladies in the film that would have been fine, but there's no reason why they would have been nude.
Right.
At least no good reason. So
Right.
I'm glad they didn't feel.
Yeah, you wouldn't
obligated
in a even though it's after hours where you're in a store
Yeah.
with 10 other employees, you wouldn't start getting it on the
Yeah.
gas
Air belt.
counter sliding belt.
I got-
yeah, the belt.
I got pickle juice on me. I got to go take a shower. No, it's stupid.
All right. Well, Scott Spiegel is the director, and you know, he's done some stuff.
He's got some cool
Mhm.
stuff here. I mean, Evil Dead 2, of course, classic. The Dead Next
Obviously,
Door is
yep.
one we'll have to get to someday because I've got some fond memories. It's the most expensive Super 8 movie ever made.
Dave Dreher's in it.
Really?
Yeah,
Evil
Oh,
Dead.
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
The Dead Next Door. It's,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in that. Not for very long, but he's in it.
And Thou Shalt Not Kill, except that's one I haven't seen. But
He was a. We'll talk about this later, but he was a fake shemp in Evil Dead.
someone wrote, there was a major article written in some paper about him. He's like friends with all these people who became, superstar indie filmmakers, and he's like the common thread. So that he shows up in these movies. That's him losing his slice of pizza to Spider-Man there.
Yeah, yeah, and he also, let's see, what else did he do? He did Hostel Part 3, which
I like the Hostel movies. I
straight
know
to
a lot of
video.
people don't.
From
but I
Dusk
like-
Till Dawn 2, also straight to video. But yeah, no, apparently him and the Raimis used to make Super 8s, growing up in their neighborhood or whatever.
I would love to find some of those old Super 8 ones. The Nutty Nut. Yeah, they were on my wavelength. I mean, they like the same stuff I did. I've seen a horrible copy of Within the Woods, which is the one that they later expanded into Evil Dead. And even there, you could see these guys weren't going to just sit down and nail the camera to the ground and just let things happen. They're picking it up and tossing it and moving it around.
Well, and one of those three guys, the Raimis or Spiegel, are the ones that introduced Bender to Quentin Tarantino. And Bender then produced Reservoir Dogs.
Ooh.
Anyway,
very good.
Yeah, Bender's got some huge blockbusters, but so yeah, interesting to see Sam Raimi being the character in a horror movie like this. After he also had a part in Drag Me to Hell, so he's probably in a lot of Raimi's movies. All right, so our lead is it's either Liz Cox. She was billed as Elizabeth Cox, but she goes by Liz Kern now. That's her listing. And that is like a great. So should we just go to the gore right now?
Yeah.
Since we got that picture in there,
I think that's one of the best ones. Yeah.
This is the
It's so
money
amazing.
shot.
Brutal.
Apparently, this was the KNB guy's idea. It was going to be something a little more, normal, I guess. And they had an idea for doing this, and
just offsetting it by an inch, your face like that
it's great.
Yeah, it's a great effect.
So they sawed his face in half, crossways, with a bandsaw. I assume is used for meat, or
they were cutting chickens with it.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what they were cutting chickens. Yeah. And then when they put them together, yeah, that's what you were talking about. Even both directions.
I'll tell you, having worked in a deli, grocery store kind of thing, there's so many people do not appreciate the dangerous things. Okay, so I teach high school. Every single morning, I am not joking about this. Every single morning, I walk through the copy machine place, and I put down the blade of the paper cutter that some lunatic. And I hope they're listening.
I know they leave it up.
They leave it up. Just
crazy.
leave it up there, and it's like,
No.
no, my God! And I put it
insanity.
down. The people owe me their fingers and arms. Machines like this. I worked in a deli, and the person who taught me how to use the ham slicer was missing the tip of their little finger. there's no mystery on where it went.
It's like that everywhere. You go, a lot of woodworkers are missing like the last joint on their finger from a kickback or a saw. And
well, the thing is, you can't pay perfect attention 100% of the time.
Right. At a place I worked where they had a big sheet metal shear, where they sheared big, 1/4-inch plate. It wasn't real thin gauge, and it had, when you press the button for the blade to come down, press the pedals, these like 2-inch rods slammed down to hold the sheet still, and you could stick your fingers under that. And one guy had the ends of 2 of his fingers were.
Okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
The joys of shop class. Well, anyway, this scene,
crazy.
one of the things I liked about this scene too, the actor really sold it well. Like he really seemed like he was terrified and screaming and trying to avoid this. Now, when it turns out who the killer is, it kind of strains credibility a little bit that this particular, I'm not spoiling it yet, but this particular person doesn't really strike me as captain of the football team, big jock guy who's going to be able to throw around folks half his age and but okay. I guess he had the element of surprise.
Well, did you see when he went outside and he saw the dude going in trying to get in through the bathroom window? If you watch that, he literally, I guess they did kind of try to show his strength there. He barely grabbed the dude and just rips him down. So I think that they were trying to show that he was strong.
I think, I bought it. He had a real sturdy torso and his shoulders.
Like they actually, it's wild because I remember watching that and going, because it was before I had actually really paid attention to the poster, because I didn't know. I still thought, and I was like, God, that dude's strong.
Yeah.
And then it kind of clicked, and I was like, oh, so they set
I guess
it up
it's true.
way.
Yeah, you got to watch those guys with dad bods or something.
Well, I'll tell you this: my dad, when he was in his 50s or something, like he was old. Well, no, he was almost actually. Yeah, he was in his, like, I was like, they were old when they had me. So like, he was so freaking strong. Like, I swear it was shockingly strong. I don't know why, but
he was old. He was like you guys' age.
No, I mean, but he was shockingly strong. Like, like he was stronger than a lot of the younger dudes. I don't know if there's something. It was very interesting.
You get toughened after a while.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
50 years of walking around, you build up some leg muscle, and 50 years of drinking beer, you build up some padding that hides all that muscle. So
this is another one of the requirements for a slasher film is the cops have to be idiots.
Oh my God.
These guys qualify.
She starts off with she's on the phone forever just trying to call them and tell them somebody come. Because my ex-boyfriend who just got out of prison for murder.
Nah, it'll be fine.
So anyway, there she is, trying not to scream because Bill's looking for her, and spoiler, and there's the sawed in half head behind her in the refrigerator.
Yeah, he knows where to put all the bodies so that she will one after another run into them. He's always one step ahead.
As are most slashers.
Yeah.
It's a great shot. So the guy we're talking about, Bill Hicks.
That
Bill,
bottom part.
I think I said Dan Hicks. I think I said Dan Hicks. I meant Bill. Is it Bill Hicks or Dan Hicks?
No, his name was Bill. I think he is Dan Hicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to rat you out. Bill put Bill Hicks on the slide.
I was thinking of the comedian Bill Hicks, wasn't I? Oh, well.
Well, I thought immediately when I saw Dan Hicks, I was like, I didn't know Dan Hicks was an actor besides being a band leader. In case you don't know, Crystal, there's a band called
I have no idea who any of those people are. So I just keep my mouth shut.
Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks have sort of.
I can honestly say I've never seen another movie where one guy beats another guy into unconsciousness with another dead guy's head.
head. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So funny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, like, this is done really well because
Mhm.
I think to pull off the campiness on purpose is much harder than just trying to make a movie really good and sucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to
So
all
That
those
middle
80s
shot
fans
is
out
him
there.
from Evil Dead
What
2,
am I
right?
looking at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bobby
Bobby,
Joe.
go!
He was in, and I need to double back because we should have mentioned this. Elizabeth Cox or Liz Kern was in Night of the Creeps
Oh, yeah.
and The Wraith.
Charlie Sheen.
Yes, that's the one.
Well, she's got that girl next door. Good looks without being ridiculously over the top, too good looking.
Well, and she's not.
Grocery store.
She only had like 7 credits in IMDb. She apparently got out of it fairly quickly.
Probably a good move. But she was in some good movies, so she's, nothing to be ashamed of.
It's, the trivia under her name says is a current news anchor for KDBC News in El Paso.
Wow.
But who knows when that was put in there.
But I mean, she only had 7 credits, but at least 3 of those are really solid, and she could show up at any convention, those little conventions, and then people are like, I remember that movie. You're like, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad she's still doing news stuff. That's good.
Well, and actually then after that, it says in 2006, she joined the city of El Paso as the public information officer and marketing coordinator for the El Paso Zoo.
Oh,
Her
that's
position allowed her to help
interesting.
in the campaign to save wildlife and promote conservation. Anyway.
So she's the one when somebody like climbs into the tiger pit, has to go in front of the cameras and say, yeah, we're going to have bigger fences next year.
Yes. And they'll
We're
be
gonna need a
electrified.
bigger fence.
It ends up looking like the guy with his head on a
Yeah,
pile of
that's
beer.
one of those jobs. It's one of those jobs where 9 times out of 10, it's, hey, we have a new baby hippo, so it's really cool. But that 1 time out of 10, someone climbed into the tiger pit.
So Dan Hicks plays Bill Roberts, who is co-owner of the store.
Mm-hmm.
Owns 49%, apparently.
And he loves that store.
He does.
Yeah.
Wow, what was he? He was in Evil Dead 2, Darkman.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2. He was a train passenger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was that great scene where Spider-Man stops the train from collapsing. Yeah, right out of the comic book.
He was a squad leader in Maniac Cop.
Oh, that's fun.
1980, just before this, actually.
So here's another guy who can go to any convention he wants, and he's not going to be buying his own drinks.
The Demolitionist, Wishmaster. Look like fairly small
I love
parts.
Wishmaster.
Yeah. Was he one of the prisoners in Wishmaster?
Customs official.
Customs. Okay.
Anyway, he does a good job of this, and frankly, I know you guys always get it way before me, but I try to be clueless when I watch these movies, and I didn't feel like that they tipped it.
Yeah,
too
they didn't
early.
Telegraph it too much.
Even at the end, even at one point, I'm going, what the hell happened to this guy? I haven't seen him for a long time. He must be the killer. Well, then when he shows up, he says, so-and-so knocked me out, when we had a fight. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I wasn't there.
Yep.
And he tells us, apparently, he tells this ridiculous story about the guy. How'd that go with the head?
Oh, yeah, about the dude getting decapitated from a car accident. And then they couldn't find the head. And then the guy went off and found the head and came back with the head in a sandwich. And he was still eating the Sammy.
Yeah. He was walking down the highway with the head swinging by the hair and eating the salmon. So apparently that happened in Raising, Arizona. And the character's name was Bill Roberts. So that's one of these things where
that's Emmett Walsh talking about him in the factory. Not that mother scratcher, Bill Parker.
Mother scratcher.
It's just interesting how what they take. Anyway,
I like when they put in these little in jokes that literally nobody but the people making this movie could get. One super fan who will hassle them about it, when they see them. But
So the Raimi brothers, we've got a couple of Ted there at the top, and then him as I think he was Joe the produce guy or something.
Oh yeah, Joe the produce guy, and that's him also from Xena.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Joxar, I think he was.
And yeah, he's always had his glasses and his headphones on, and so he could never, and was singing to himself. And then the bottom picture is Sam Raimi, and he got hung on a meat hook in the meat cooler, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Looks uncomfortable. Bruce Campbell's probably
Actually,
giggling. Yeah, that's what it's like.
That one was a little scary. It looked like he got awfully close to that. Like I saw, they took his head away out of the frame, and then this seemed precariously shot. I'm just saying, I was a little concerned.
You could just see where something could go wrong. Yeah. And then it's going to be this one time on film set.
Yep. I impaled my brother on a hook.
I was gaffed.
Yeah.
Well, the first kill is Renee Estevez, who plays Linda. That's her in the top shot in this movie, but in the middle shot, that's her in Heathers.
I know that. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, I know that.
And the bottom shot is from Sleepaway 2.
Ah.
I was like, it looks like they're trying to look like Sleepaway Camp, so that makes a lot of sense, actually.
But she also didn't she's part of the Estevez / Sheen family.
Okay.
She's Emilio's sister. She's got 43 credits, but just not, they're kind of skipped around, and she has roles like in the Addams Family Reunion TV movie 1998. She played blonde Sharon. She was in a TV movie called Deadfall. It starred Michael Biehn, Nicolas Cage, and James Coburn. Anyway, she does nicely, but she just doesn't last long.
Yeah, well,
and we don't really see her killed either, and that's where it's kind of misleading, because she gets killed, right? The next scene is Bill's up in the office talking to who's the other owner? What was his name? Danny. Eugene Robert Glazer. Yeah. So I'm like, man, he's fast, but we don't know how much time passed there. So I guess.
Well, and it was misdirection, right? And it was just a cut. So yeah, could have been.
Alrighty. And then we have Bruce Campbell, who shows up as a cop at the very end, where we knew that they were going to think these were the killers, because
I got to be honest with you, I barely recognized him.
I didn't either. I had to rewind.
Okay, he was so young, and he does not look as good young. He's not as cute
much either.
He's not as good looking here. Just sorry. Like,
not until he goes into the grocery store and comes out and his hands are covered in blood. And he goes, "It's a slaughterhouse in there." And the other cop in that shot is Lawrence Bender, the producer. So, yeah, they show up. You're just sitting there going, her ex-boyfriend, what the heck was his name? Craig, played by David Burns, is covered in blood and holding a cleaver. And the cops drive up. She's covered in blood. They arrest them both. Oh, and the other guy, Bill, isn't quite dead and says, "They did it."
Yeah. And then he dies. So
well, he does, but at the very end, his eyes pop open.
Okay, yeah.
And she starts screaming. So I thought that was kind of a weird ending. I guess it's okay. What'd you think of that? Anything?
I thought the end felt weird. It was, but I liked it because it wasn't how slasher movies usually end.
Yeah,
it just sort of reverse roles there, and then you never know what happens to him. And then the killer opens his eyes again. You know, I don't know if they were shooting for a sequel there or
Probably.
That's probably just standard practice to leave the option there. All right. These are ones I pulled up just because I love these guys. So Alvy Mohr and Tom Lester played the first two cops that show up at the grocery store.
Green Acres.
Yeah. And Alvy Mohr is
just
he's like playing Mr. Kimball. He's bumbling, can't, gets the wrong card. Is that my card? I don't know. Oh yeah, that is my card. He gives it to him. The person that's upside down. Anyway, they play Ebb and
Flo
and Mr. Kimball, Hank Kimball, I think. He was the county agent, and he always did one of those circular talk things, right?
I just want to give a shout out. If people haven't seen Green Acres and you think it's just another one of those corny 60s sitcoms that they put out to pasture all at once, that show was actually a little ahead of its time. It could get kind of meta, like they'd be just doing the opening credits and stuff. Yeah, where all of a sudden Gabor she notices that there's credits. She's like looking at the credits and reading them. And you're like, wait, what? She can see it too? What? That was a cool little show. It was
totally meta. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it also, I was thinking I should watch some of those too, because when I was looking at the cast, it's all these people that are in all the movies.
Actually, I love Green Acres. Green Acres is a place.
And a great theme song. Yeah.
Living is the life.
Yeah. So we have this character, Tom Lester. Pat Buttram plays Mr. Haney. Alvy Mohr. Frank Cady is Sam Drucker, and he's in a ton of movies that we do in classic era. Hank Patterson is Fred Ziffel. He's the craggy old guy that's got is it the pig his?
Yeah.
And it goes on from there. And just Edgar Buchanan, Uncle Joe shows up for a few cameos, and I just see a whole bunch of names I recognize as character actors that are in all the movies we do in classic era. So anyway, there's two of them, and I love Alvy Mohr. He was also involved in the making of and as an actor in A Boy and His Dog, which we did.
That's right, yeah.
He was one of the whiteface guys underground there. And then
my man Emil,
Emil Sitka,
the fourth stooge.
Yes. And he had this they gave him this line. They manufactured the situation. And I only know about it from one, but they claim that he did it in a lot of shows. But there's one short called The Unbridled Groom, where Shemp inherits a bunch of money and he's got like 5 hours, but he doesn't get it unless he's married. And it's like he has like 5 hours. And so he's trying to get all these women to marry him, but they don't know what's going on. Well, then when they find out, they all show up and it's a big crowd. And he's supposed to be marrying them. He's the preacher. And he says, "Hold hands, you lovebirds," like 5 or 6 times because they keep getting torn apart.
Now, wasn't that exact plot that you described actually made into a feature film a few years ago? I'm trying to remember who was in it, but
I'm sure. I have no doubt.
I just have an image of this guy running down the street and all these women in like bridal gowns chasing him.
Wasn't it Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, that sounds familiar or something.
Yeah, he's in a ton of these, and he's in all kinds of comedy stuff from that era. He's got, I think, 165 credits, something like that.
And he almost was the fourth stooge, because after Larry Fine had a stroke, Moe, who was going to keep this gig going until he died, enlisted him to be the new Larry. And then Moe died, and that was it. Once Moe died, Moe was gone, everyone was like, we wanted to stop this decades ago, but Moe would not quit.
But he tells a story, this Sitka character tells a story. Like, so to start with, the term fake Shemp is something Sam Raimi came up with, I think, and maybe Spiegel for Evil Dead.
Oh.
Okay. And what it means is someone different from the actor playing the part. And apparently when Shemp died, he had a stroke. and was no longer able to perform. And they were in the middle of doing a short and had a contract for like 3 or 4 more. And this Mo and Larry show back up for filming, never said a word to anybody, but where's Shemp? He's not there, you know. And then in these other ones, they fulfilled the contract using this body double for Shemp.
That's kind of messed up, actually.
It's really messed up.
It's so obvious when you watch it now. It's like, hey, let's get a plan. They all get together and we see Shemp's back and the other two on the side. And it's like,
well, and they have one of those big maybe that was Curly too. No, that was Shemp. They had one of those big pie fight scenes at the end of this one where he has the stroke. And this Emil Sitka's sitting there thinking, where's Shemp? You know, usually they're all in on this, you know, but nobody says anything. He's not in the anyway.
He was fun in this. Boy, now he grew up to look more like Hyman Roth from Godfather 2, but it was a fun little bit.
Well, I recognize his voice right away.
Yeah,
he was playing that same character. And then they have him. He bumps into 2 people, a couple on the way out of the store, and he turns around and says, "Hold hands, you lovebirds." So,
oh, yeah, okay.
Well, Raimi and those guys are huge
Three
Stooges fans.
Yeah. In fact, I think they said some of those Super 8s they did in the 70s were Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Stuff
They were very inspired. And of course, Evil Dead 2 has some pretty stoogey fun there.
All right. Well, that's all the cards we got. Do we have other stuff we want to talk about?
I mean, there's not a lot to it, but I think they do well with what they've got, and much more enjoyable than your basic slasher movie, in my opinion.
I feel the same way. It was I totally expected to hate this movie. I really did, and but I really wanted to see it because of the Sam Raimi connection and the Evil Dead connection, and I'm glad I did because it was. I really enjoyed it. It was. It was not a run-of-the-mill slasher. I mean, it great effects by K&B were just. Not many people were still doing that around this time. That kind of stuff. So.
Just to bring up Lawrence Bender again, he was the producer of Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, wow.
Hacksaw Ridge.
You just described a couple of my favorite movies there.
Hacksaw Ridge. I'm trying to go. I know there's other ones here you guys would recognize, but I'm not. He was a producer for An Inconvenient Truth. That's the Al Gore thing, right?
The cigarette?
Yeah. No, the
Al Gore documentary,
environmental thing, ecology. It's a fun flick, and you could catch it right now.
Yep.
Tubi
or
producers as well. Yep.
All right. Enough of that stuff. Well, you know what, folks? Jeez.
No one loves us, y'all.
Not our usual thing. We got no feedback. What's up with this, you guys?
Yep.
No feedback. 2 Critter movies in a row, and nobody's got any feedback about it.
Maybe that's why.
No. They got all crittered out.
Maybe it's my fault. I guess it's my fault. That second one was my choice, y'all. My choice. I ruined us.
Well, I will throw. Well, never mind.
Stop doing that, Crystal. Stop it.
He was about to say, "I will throw someone under the bus." What?
Yes.
No, I'm trying to find. We already read that one. So yeah, we don't have any other feedback. So oh well. But hey,
Harry must be busy.
We love feedback. Well,
I was about to say, I was like, where has he been?
He did have some feedback on The Last Dinosaur, but that's 70s. So
The Last Dinosaur. That's a
movie we did.
That sounds like a Bill pick.
It does.
Was it?
Yes. I did 2 dinosaur movies in a row: Giant Behemoth and The Last Dinosaur. It's like,
all right.
But you know what's funny? My next pick for 80s, I now can't use.
Why?
Because Jeff took it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No dinosaurs, but
too late to switch.
No, it's fine.
Because I had a list of like 3, and I went with this one because anyway. So plenty of ways to stay in touch. Please send your feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or even better, leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel.
Yep.
You can come visit us at the Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group as well, or to the website. But we love comments, and we read almost all of them. There's only been 1 or 2 that I didn't read that were kind of not
creepy.
Yeah. I don't mind if you don't like us, but
I was going to say asshole-ish.
Creepy.
We are not giving you Crystal's home address, no matter how much you ask.
Yes. So that's it for this episode. But every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1980 and 1989. Next up is one chosen by me, and I picked Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but that sounds fun.
It has another alternate title that also gets used a lot, but I'm trying to remember what it was.
Is that Peter McNichol movie?
Jimmy, I think.
Jimmy McNichol.
And who's the actress?
Susan Terrell. That's why I picked it. That's why I picked it, because I loved her so much in Angel.
Well,
I thought I got to go back and check
this is a tour de force. This is a brilliant portrayal.
Oh, and Bo Svensson is in it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a great cast.
And you're gonna hate his character.
Is it worse than Buford T. Pussa?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't want to give it away. But it's available. It's out there. I found it on Wicked Horror TV, but then I found it on the Joe Bob had done a thing of it, like in their season 4 or something.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
so you can also watch it on Joe Bob, and it's always fun to watch them on with Joe Bob, because he gives you so much
info,
good stuff.
Lots of people die. Hands get lopped off. Fireplace pokers. People get run through by fireplace pokers.
I thought Jeff was getting ready to wax philosophical there for a second. Everybody dies. Lots of people die.
It has some interesting.
Why are we here?
There's some interesting things in there. So anyway,
you may
maybe have one of the best car wrecks I've ever seen.
It's right up there with the Final Destination. That opening car wreck is awesome. You may have seen it under the title Night Warning.
Yes,
I think that's what I first saw it on.
Well, check this out. On the Joe Bob Briggs thing, he says he found out about it because Stephen King sent him a note that had his 5 favorite drive-in movies, and one of them was Night Warning, and he didn't have any idea what it was, and then he figured out it's Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
I just love the title. It sounds cool.
It's very grindhouse. It's just you watching this movie now, and I didn't see it at a grindhouse, but I feel like I did, because it's perfect exploitation. Early 80s.
Susan Terrell is great. You remember Susan Terrell from Angel? She was that crazy woman that lived in the apartment there. The artist.
I love her, because she's in Crybaby.
Yes. She's great.
All right. Every performance from her is set to 11. She's great.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
I think she won an Oscar in Fat City.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think that was one of her first roles, and then she decided to go take her own path. Thank God.
She did kind of refuse the traditional baloney. All right. Well, I'm old. We use words like that.
Horse hockey.
I remember horse hockey.
Horse pucky.
I remember horse pucky too.
Bull pucky.
Okay.
It's just all ways of swearing without
all the puckies.
Cow pies.
All the puckies. Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna have fun with Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker next time, and hopefully that's something people will dig. And I hope this one gets some comments, because this is a fun movie. All right, guys. Thanks to Grue Believers, and thanks to Bill, Chad, and Crystal.
Yay.
Thanks to all our Patreons too.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have a Patreon channel or a Patreon group or whatever, and for that you will get, for instance, we're recording this on Wednesday the 14th. The Patreon members should get it by the night of the 15th, so the next day, but it won't go live until the 26th of May. So for the general public, we do that to give us room for reschedules and stuff and still have a regular schedule. So, yeah, so just for a $2 or $3 extra, you get the Decades of Horror, like 10 days to 2 weeks early. And we did a whole series on Kolchak the Night Stalker. And those are only on Patreon.
The whole first season.
All right.
That was fun to do.
And then Bill did his own, in the last roundup show, Bill did his own list of what the second season should have looked like.
Bill went crazy,
what the plots would have been. All right, I'm just rambling on. Thanks, everybody. Say good night.
Good night.
Night, everyone.
Good night.